Welcome to aminacademy.com. Let us discuss about the Mongol Emperor Timur. Timur sieged 1369 and 1405 AD. Timur, the renowned Oriental conqueror, was commonly known as Tamerlane. While breaking the center of sustained army, he received an arrow wounded in his foot, which was thus permanently lamed. Timur was born in the year 1336 AD at a place called Kish to the south of Samarkand. His father, Teragai, was a Mughal chieftain. His great grandfather, Karachar Nevian, was a minister of Chagatai, son of the Chinggis Khan. In 1369, Timur ascended the throne of Samarkand. Among the sovereigns of the age, the name of Timur is deserves honorable mention. While quite young, he attached the favor and noticed the Hasgan, who was master of Transoxiana at this time. Hasgan gave his granddaughter in marriage to him and made him commander over thousand. On Hasgan's death, Timur became the governor of Transoxiana at 23 years of age. And in 1369, he declared himself as a king of the region. He became ruler of the tribe of Barlas also by right of descent. Timur distinguished himself among his fellow clansmen as the first convert to Islam. Timur was the first to promulgate Islamic law in his territories in place of the Mughal and Turkish institutions, and he provided also that the expenses of preaching the true faith should be defrayed out of the royal treasury. The meanwhile, China dropped off from the Mughal Empire as a result of an insurrection which broke it out in 1370. Timur invaded Mesopotamia, Syria, Asia Minor, and Afghanistan. In 1381, Khorasan, Mazandaran, and Azerbaijan fell into his hands. Isfahan was conquered by him in 1387, and he returned to Samarkand after the conquest of Shiraz. After finishing the conquest of Persia, he invaded India and extended his sway from Indus on the west of the delta of the Ganges. After the conquest of India, he returned in 1399 with a vast quantity of looted treasure. Next year, he invaded the Turkish Empire, and the cities of Baghdad, Aleppo, and Damascus fell successively into his hands. In 1402, on the plains of Angora, and Osmanli Sultan Bayezid was defeated and made captive by him. Egypt also acknowledged the sovereignty of Timur. Timur had carried his victories on one side from the Volga to the Persian Gulf, and so the other from the Hellespont of the Ganges. In 1404, Henry III, King of England, sent an ambassador to Timur. Timur addressed the ambassador to the following effect: I and my son join in blessing your king. He need not have sent all these present to me. Yourself and this letter were sufficient. On the occasion of Byzantine's defeat, the French king Charles VI sent a message of congratulation to Timur in which it was said, if French merchants are treated with sympathetic consideration in your domains, then Muslim merchants will be treated with equal kindness in French also. The word Timur signifies iron. Timur was a devout Muslim, a patron of learned men, and a founder of mosques and colleges. He was the greatest Asiatic conqueror known in history, says Sir Percy Sykes, the famous historian. The son of a petty chieftain, He was not only the bravest of the brave, but also profoundly sagacious, generous, experienced, and persevering, and the combination of these qualities made him an unsurpassed leader of men and a very god of war, adorned by all ranks. His achievements seemed almost to border on the superhuman. He carried his arms in every direction throughout a long life. His achievements seemed almost to border on the superhuman. He carried his arms in every direction throughout a long life. In no campaign was he worsted, and when he died, a Gibbon wrote from Irtish and Volga to the Persian Gulf and from the Ganges to Damascus and the archipelago. Asia was in the hands of Timur. He lies in a doomed mausoleum in Samarkand. Now, further detail we'll discuss about Timur. Timur in 1336 to 1405, also known as Tamerlane, was a Turco-Mongol conqueror who established the Timurid Empire and is considered one of the history's greatest military leaders. Timur took advantage of disputes between tribal khans to establish himself as a leader and proclaimed himself the restorer of the Mongol Empire. Timur's conquest stretched from India and Russia to the Mediterranean Sea. He is considered the last great nomadic conqueror of the Eurasian steppe. The Timurid Empire converted West, South, and Central Asia, including modern day Afghanistan, Iran, and Central Asia. The legacy. Timur's empire set the stage for the rise of the Islamic gunpowder empire in the 16th and 17th centuries. His grandson, Ulugh Beg, was an astronomer and mathematician who ruled Central Asia from 1411 to 1449. Timur's great 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 grandson Babur founded the Mughal Empire in India. Timur died in Otrar in 1405 and was buried in Samarkand. He left no clear line of succession and his empire fell apart after his death. Timur is described as tall as strongly built, with a big head and broad forehead. His skin was pale and ruddy, and he wore a full beard. According to the biographer Sharafuddin, Timur was injured by arrows while stealing sheep in his 20s, and this left him lame in the right leg and caused his right arm to be stiff for the rest of his life. Hence, his Persian name Timur-e Lang, that is Timur the Lame. His lameness did not seem to slow him down, and before the age of 35, he was in control of all the lands that formed in the heritage of Chagatai. After being proclaimed sovereign at Balkh, he returned Samarkand into his capital. There is no evidence of Timur ever learning to read or write, but he spoke two or three languages, including Turkic and Persian, and he arranged to have history book read to him while he had dinner. He is described as an intelligent man and also a great lover of arts, including architecture and gardening. He loved to play chess and also invented a more elaborate form of the game where twice the standard number of pieces are used on board, consisting of 110 squares. Today, He called this game as Tamerlane chess. The question of Timur's own religious beliefs is a controversial one among scholars. He relied on Islamic symbols and languages to bring legitimacy to his conquest and often referred to himself as the Sword of Islam. He supported educational and religious Islamic institutions and encouraged the Borjigin leaders to convert to Islam. Timur building an empire. Timur inherited a system of rulership that he used to both nomadic and settled populations. Compared to Genghis Khan, his control and use of settled population was much more important to Timur. On 18 June 1391, Timur's army won the Great Battle of Kunduz and on July 28, 1402, Timur led his men to victory against the Ottoman army in Ankara. His army, Timur's army was organized into Tumen, which were military units each comprised of 10,000 men. The army was famous not just for being extremely fierce and violent, but also for its heterogeneity. The Silk Road ambitions. Timur had a great interest in trade and wanted to reactive and restore the Silk Road. His ambition was to keep the Silk Road under his control, even though that meant having to go to war with various nations and empires located along this enormously long route from west to east. So far, we discussed about the Mongol Empire, Timur. If you have done, please subscribe our YouTube channel.